Hey, private practice dentists. On this episode, we're going to be interviewing a reputation management expert that has been in the digital marketing industry for 12 years. We'll be talking about how to respond to online reviews from unhappy patients. Stay tuned for some tips that will help you retain and attract new patients.
Welcome to Dental Business Excellence, the podcast dedicated to inspiring dentists to achieve optimal growth and success in their practices. Here, top dental experts will share their insights to bring the latest technology, tools, marketing techniques, practice management strategies, and business solutions that will help increase your bottom line. Here are your hosts, owner of AMP Dental SEO, Adrian Baines, and CEO of White & Associates Practice Consulting, Christian White.
Welcome to Dental Business Excellence. I'm Adrian Baines, along with my co-host, Christian White. Thanks for joining us today. On today's show, we're honored to be joined by an awesome guest. He's an online reputation management expert. He's been in the digital marketing industry for 12 years now, and he owns a software company that helps thousands of small businesses across the U.S. get positive reviews from their customers. Let's welcome JD Dammeier from Bazinga to the show.
All right. Yes. JD, thank you for being a guest on the show today.
Super happy to be here.
JD, welcome in. Thanks for joining us.
Super happy to be here.
All right. Let's get things
on.
started. JD, why don't you give us a little background, maybe a little short bio about yourself for all of our listeners?
Yeah, I think, several years ago, maybe way back in about 2007, I kind of got started in the, maybe, I guess it qualifies as digital marketing, the SEO world. Let's make people rank better and drive traffic and things of that nature. And it grew well and learned a ton. And I had a very successful business that I ended up selling and rotated into just strictly reputation management and operational efficiencies. So that happened in about 2012. And from there, that's what we've done for the past, I guess, just that alone, just for the last 10 years.
Right on. So let's start here with the discussion today. So just simply, what is reputation management?
For me, it's, most people would say, hey, it's reviews, right? And that's typically what it is. Kind of to the example I gave you about my background back in the SEO days, it might have been a little bit more than that, right? It might have been writing blogs about people. Maybe we're kind of SEOing someone's name or the business name. So a little bit different if you wanted to get really in depth. In today's world, to me, it's, online reputation consists of getting online reviews, managing online reviews, sharing online reviews, and aggregating online reviews. So we can start with getting online reviews, but when you get online reviews, where are you getting them from, right? There's all kinds of platforms out there. There's all kinds of options out there, from Google or just internal reviews. We've seen this before many times. So an internal review might be something that says, hey, give us a review, but it doesn't really go anywhere. It's not really on a public forum. It's not, you may put it on your website, but things like that would be what we would call an internal review, internal to the business only. But then, so you're going to direct, as you're getting reviews, you're directing people to reviews on Google or Facebook or soon to be Apple, lots of different things out there. There's dental practices, there's dental websites, right? For dentists, there's specific ones, there's ZocDoc, there's all kinds of different stuff. So directing people to is one thing, to leave a review at certain places. But then when we talk about aggregating reviews, we can aggregate, can you aggregate reviews from the Better Business Bureau, from other places, so that even though you're not really driving people to leave reviews at those places, are we aggregating and understanding what our, as we start to talk about managing this, are we looking at the whole picture? I can be great on one platform and I can be really bad on another platform. So the aggregate might be more like a 3 versus a 5. Mm-hmm. And that's, we want to look at things holistically. Mm-hmm. And then ultimately, this is great content. I mean, I always tell people this, Adrian, I say, look, 95, first of all, understand that if anybody that's watching this, probably somewhere deep in their heart has a fear of driving people to Google to leave them a review, for example. You just don't know what they're going to say, right? But the reality is this: you're not in business today if 95% of the people don't like you. It's impossible. So kind of put that, you got to get past that hump first. And so understand we're going to get a lot of good reviews. Businesses have a lot of good reviews right now. What do they do with that content? Hopefully they put it on their website, right? You got some plugins or things that, demonstrate or show those reviews on your website. But is there more that can be done? And so I think when you talk about reputation management let's change that. Reputation management / marketing. Let's market those, and let's share that good news, whether it be on our Facebook page, whether it be on our Twitter page, whatever. That to me is reputation management. It's a very holistic piece, right? It's a few moving parts.
Yeah. So for us, in dentistry, working with our clients, simply what we want is we want our clients to be the obvious choice, right? When someone does a search, they're looking at the 3-pack map listings, and if we're doing our job correctly, our client is the obvious choice with the most reviews and the best reputation. And what I can tell you guys listening is there is not a better platform out there than Bazinga to do what I just said. We've been working with JD and his team at Bazinga since 2018, and our clients love their platform.
It works really well. So a lot of those things we talked about just become more working in the background, very automated, right? Because people have a ton of time, right? Everybody has time just to sit around and read reviews as a business owner. Not exactly, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's just automated. There's a lot of stuff working in the background.
JD, when you talk about getting reviews, and you talk about marketing, and you talk about making an impact, all the dentists and their dental teams are going to say, okay, JD, how many reviews should I be getting a month? Or how many reviews should I accumulate to be able to make an impact so that people know and patients know, hey, this is the place to come get your dentistry done?
So let's make it real simple. They need a lot, and they need a lot more. The reality is that when we talk about that 3-pack, that Adrian was talking about,
Yes.
Google Maps, there a very heavy weight of that is put on reviews. That ranking, a lot of it is based on reviews. It's not just reviews. It's how consistently do you get reviews? Do you respond to reviews? We'll probably talk about that today, right? So there's a lot more to it than just, they have 100 reviews, they're good to go. And so there's a consistency factor. The algorithm is pretty long and wicked. So it's nothing that anybody's going to manipulate, but you have to be consistent. So reviews becomes review gathering or acquiring needs to become just a part of your everyday business.
So the review piece should be a system in your practice. So whether, however you want to design it, whether, the office manager or the front desk or someone or somebody's needs to kind of be assigned to managing the reviews, who said this, or someone said this, or someone said they had a great time at our dental practice. Well, somebody should respond to them.
Right. And I think it's respond to all good reviews and all bad reviews, right? There's differences of opinion, but every review should be responded to. You only continue to build a relationship. So we'll talk about the good one first, right? So someone said, hey, I had a great experience. These guys were so nice. I actually felt good walking out of the dental practice. Here's a 5-star review. And, we just let that roll, and it's out there publicly. That's great. That's really good. But can we enhance that by responding and letting them know we appreciate them taking the time? Just taking the time, right? It's recognizing that they took the time to leave that review. Other people see your response. I don't necessarily, when I look at reviews and maybe I'm shopping for something and maybe I'm looking for a dentist today, I'm not really looking at the reviews in general. I'm probably even more focused on the responses.
So you're talking about a relationship management system. It kind of goes beyond just a review piece. There's actually a few more things involved with it other than just, okay, great, I just said, okay, I clicked like. Well, that doesn't have the impact really that we want. We would like to, am I right? Okay, good. I'm right in saying that, because it's everything is automated in this world today, but it's like sometimes, if you put a little personal piece behind it, patients are like, wow, this person at XYZ Dental just got back to me and it was really quick. I mean, wow, they care about me.
Exactly. This is 100% the customer experience, right? What does that journey really look like?
So we've kind of, and this is going to get into the next question, and we kind of talked about this a little bit already, but the importance of a reputation management system for your dental practice. I mean, if I'm listening to you right, I mean, it's like it's hard to quantify how important that is.
Oh, it's also really important. There's good and there's bad, right? I mean, there's hundreds of platforms out there. How in depth they go and what features and benefits they have. I think most people, like you said, probably started off with, well, I just need to get some reviews.
Yes.
And that's a good place to start. That's fine. But there's a lot more to it. And how easy is it for you to manage those reviews inside of that platform? We talked about responding to reviews. There are systems, maybe like ours, that actually you can set up automatic responses that are not templated, that actually use the customer's name and things like that. And it's actually really good in the dental world for that, to keep yourself out of trouble of maybe saying something you shouldn't say, right? So to me, good reviews, bad reviews, they all should be responded to. And the system can be automated, and it can be automated with a template or a multiple templates that are picked based on certain criterias, maybe not just a star rating, but maybe a little bit more, we'll call it AI in technology, but that responds to that review in an appropriate way that keeps you out of trouble with HIPAA. You can't sit here and start talking about thanks for having your teeth cleaned here. You can't say that, right? There are things you can say and not say in the dental world. So
yes.
The medical world in general. So, that's, again, does that system do all of these things? And does it even integrate with my practice management system?
Right.
That's a whole nother conversation.
That is.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this.
I probably jumped the gun there, didn't I, Adrian?
That's all right. No,
that's okay. That's okay.
That's the next podcast, JD.
Well, let me ask this. What are the benefits of using software to manage your online reputation versus just assign it to the person at the front desk and having them do it manually, from like sending the review request to thanking, the whole package? It
would be a 40-hour job. You're going to spend in labor 40 hours a week for someone to manually do that. There's hands down, if they're going to do it correctly, as in depth as we just kind of discussed right there. They would have to scan, look at Better Business Bureau, Facebook, Google at all times. They're not going to be notified. Just the notification itself that you just got a review would be ultimately important, right? So that they can then take an action. They would have to manually scan that on an hourly basis or a daily basis at minimum. Then they have to go take action on all these things, reach out to these people. That would be, and then they would have to create something to share a Facebook post. Hey, look what Sally just said on Google, and then build out some nice graphic and all that stuff. In depth, it would be a minimum of 40 hours.
Yeah.
So it becomes a cost, right? The advantage is cost and efficiencies. And now with the tool, that one person can absolutely engage and perform the connection with the business, right?
So it's kind of like, JD, it's almost like branding. It's a little bit, right? am I right? Okay, good. It's like, this is dental branding we're talking about, and we're talking about experience. We're talking about making it easy for the front desk to use it. We're making it easy for the patients to communicate with the office. It's like, this is almost part of the patient experience, which is, how do I, contact or interact with your practice? Is it easy? Is it difficult? Do people get back to me on time? All of that plays a huge role.
It does. And, I think the biggest thing about reviews in general, we'll just say getting reviews. We always say that's the most important thing. We got to start somewhere. Is, what else do you do with these reviews? I would hope that you learn something about your business. that that can be corrected, that can be fixed, that can be tweaked. I mean, you know, I was telling you guys earlier, I know Adrian already knows this, and I'll share it with the group here, but you know, my daughter's a softball player, and she's committed now to playing college. She's a senior in high school. And I want you to think about something. The first time that she walked up to the plate holding the bat, I mean, she probably didn't hold it right. I mean, she was a little twerp. And, you know, do you think that she swung that bat perfect?
No.
A perfect swing. It's physically impossible, right? We all know that. We all like, well, duh, JD. Well, you know, you're running a business, and you know what? Even to this day, where she actually holds some batting records at some places, even to this day, that swing changes on a weekly basis. It is tweaked, modified, everything. So, and that's under instruction. As business owners, and you know, as dental practices, business owners, as businesses, we always tend to do what we know and never really. I don't think we tweak enough. I think I find people that say, "Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work," and it's not right. And my perfect example on this would be, it was a different category. It was a car dealership. I won't say who it was, but they had like a 2.4 star rating on Google when we started with them. Today they're 4.7, and but we found out immediately what the problem was, right? It wasn't that you were getting bad reviews. Yeah, you were getting some bad reviews. You're only getting reviews from people that had bad things to say because you weren't asking for reviews. So those 95% jumped on board, and it was easy for them to leave some positive reviews. But there were still some negative ones coming in. And what we figured out was they had previously had a 10-minute quick drive oil change lane at the dealership, and that had gone away. So people were having to wait longer for oil changes. And it stuck out like a sore thumb. I mean, the comments were just, so again, this isn't bad stuff, right? This is just what happened. And so does that mean that they should put a quick drive service back in? No, but maybe we should communicate better with everybody to set the right expectations on time. That's what happened. And those bad comments went away. They didn't happen anymore. So it's, what do you learn from the review, right? It's not really, I mean, yes, you're going to have a difference of opinion here and there. Yes, there are the 1%ers that are just going to go absolutely crazy out there and, you know, embellish how bad it was or whatever. But that's simple. Hey, call us. We're right here, you know? So.
Well, that's a good place for us to ask this question here, right? Because we're talking about negative experiences, negative reviews. So how should a dental practice respond to a bad review from a patient?
I mean, I always like to say, let's don't say it's the 1%er. Let's don't say it's this one-off craziness. Own it, you know, just own it. And I mean, there's different ways to say that, hey, you know, we're sorry, but be sincere. Hey, that doesn't seem like something we would do, or that's not our goal, obviously. Call us. Let's see if we can, you know, try to engage in a conversation outside of that review. You know, and just state your purpose as a business. I've seen people actually go to where they actually just insert their mission statement. If that doesn't sound crazy, but that's cool, right? This is what we're here to do. If we didn't do that, then we need to talk. Call us, email us, text us, whatever. We'd be glad. And they may even put the person to contact's name in there, right? Contact Billy at this extension. If I see that as a person reading the review later on, just an external person, I'm like, yeah, they care. Those guys care. They're telling them to call them. They're trying to take this into a conversation of repair. So that's my biggest thing.
Yeah. And then with our clients, you know, in medical dentistry, right? And we talked about this earlier, you have to be HIPAA compliant, right? So there are some advantages for our clients with that being, you know, in consideration, because you can't acknowledge that the person leaving the review, you know, is a patient, right? So your responses, you know, there are only a few real responses that you can use that are going to be HIPAA compliant, right? And simply, you know, it could just be, we're sorry to hear that, you know, thank you for the feedback. Please contact our office so we can help you.
And I think that's my favorite word. And that's my favorite word right there, Adrian, is use the word feedback. As when I'm responding to a negative review, if I use thank you for the feedback, if I use that keyword feedback, it softens the blow with anybody that reads that. They go, oh yeah, that's just feedback. That's one person's feedback. That's one person's opinion, and then also, like you said, go on and continue to say, hey, let's chat, talk about it.
Sure. Yeah. And you don't want to stress out about it, right? I mean, let's stay calm. No one is perfect. Just if you, anybody that's been in business, for a good amount of time is going to have some negative reviews here and there. So just don't be hard on yourself. Stay calm and, learn from the feedback, do better next time.
Yeah. Make an adjustment. I mean, Christian, what do you think is the most common negative feedback that you see? What does it break down to? In my opinion, I'll tell you before you answer, my opinion is it always comes down to communication or organization by the dental practice.
Correct. And that comes down to this piece. Okay. It took me a long time to come in and have whatever I needed to have done. And then and then I finally left the dental practice, but they were late. They were not on time, and and I'm just going to say they abused my time. That is probably one of the number one problems that patients have in going to the dental practice. People want to get in, they want to come in, and they want to get out.
So if let's say you left that review, right?
Yes.
You left a review stating that you're not very happy about it because you're driving home. You're probably texting and driving. You're not texting. You're reviewing, and we're gonna call it "Don't review and drive." Right? Don't review and drive.
Don't review and drive. I love it. That's awesome.
So because that means you're mad,
Yes.
and that's gonna lead to bad things. But seriously, everybody gets freaked out about that, right? A dental practice goes, "Oh my gosh, we got a bad review. I can't believe it." Blah blah blah. And here's the reality: why did you get the bad review?
Right.
Because you just didn't communicate up front. Hey, you know what? We had someone sick today. We're still going to get you in. As long as that works for you, give them some options. That would have completely. So it's a learning. Just keep learning.
I would say this too.
Yeah.
Or go ahead,
Christian.
No, I would also say that in a dental practice, there is a fear of negative reviews, and there's a fear that negative reviews lead to patients leaving the practice. So everyone's very careful about that piece. And I think that one of the biggest questions that dental practice and dentists are going to have, JD, is, can Bazinga and the system that you've come up with, can that be a patient retention system? In terms of helping us retain patients and doing a good job of being proactive rather than reactive when somebody says something.
Yeah, I think it's all about being proactive, right? And the answer is yes. And just from the review standpoint, our system does a lot more than that. I'm sure we'll probably talk about that in another segment, but it's pretty in depth. But yeah, absolutely. So proactive, number one, just think about it. Proactive is consistency in asking for reviews. That means every client, I always I can always tell when people are cherry picking. You know what that means? Cherry picking.
Yes.
Yeah. They're cherry picking, right? So you can always tell. I can see it from a mile away. I've been doing this a long time. So sometimes we used to do this thing where we would have customers send in their weekly clients, right? That they would, because we didn't have integrations like we do today. This is way back. And so when they send that spreadsheet in and I would upload it, and there would be lines missing on the spreadsheet. And it might be 10, 15 lines missing on the spreadsheet. And you're like, why was there gaps? And when they exported it, was there gaps? No, there wasn't gaps. They took them out. They are in fear that those customers, and it's funny. Yes. So you're gonna just take a chance. You're so worried about a bad review. If you earned it, man. That's, and by it being out there will probably make you more understanding to what you need to fix.
Right.
So proactive is ask everybody, right? Proactive is boom, have a system, have it be consistent. Consistent means the same message, right? I use some different verbiage in with our clients. We use some different verbiage in how we ask for reviews, and we don't really say leave us a review. We say how was your experience, right? We may use some different words, and we tweak some of that stuff because that's what I really want to know. I want to know the customer's experience. I could care less about I mean, I shouldn't say that I care less. I don't care less that whether the filling stayed in or came out. I don't, that's not me, right? I mean, I care about the experience all the way through.
Yes.
So how you ask for, so asking for reviews, what you're really asking for as far as content, and then the multi-purpose backside of aggregation, looking at the total aggregation, understanding how to share reviews and how to respond to reviews.
Mm-hmm.
That 100%, all that's got to happen. That is being proactive with a system, with a platform. And it doesn't have to be our platform. I would highly recommend our platform, but at the end of the day, have a process that covers all of that.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Yeah. So, what we've talked about in this process so far, right, is number one, you're going to be HIPAA compliant. Number two, just like stay calm, right? Don't freak out. But the third thing is that you want to reply to the negative review as soon as you can. Now, when you do respond, it's really important that you're cool and calm, right? And that you don't take a defensive approach, and especially you're not offensive, right?
Yeah.
But just be chill, be cool and calm when you're responding to those reviews. And
or just use a template.
Yeah.
Adrian, what about a template? I mean,
use our templates. Yep.
A template
absolutely.
And the template of deal is driving the conversation back to a one-on-one conversation back to the practice. So to me, I use it all the time. I mean, I'll be honest with you. We use templated stuff all the time when it comes to responses, especially in the medical world where HIPAA is very serious. There's another category that we do a lot of work in, and that's in insurance. So again, there's some different things there that you have to comply by. And then there's even more compliance if you get into SEC type stuff. So you got to be careful because some insurance people sell securities. And if they're selling securities, now we're into a real different conversation of what we can and can't do. Somebody new comes into the office, doesn't know those rules. They respond to a review in the wrong way. We got a problem, right? So yeah, I think templates are key. With what I would call autofills being the person who left the review's name, what they, holding some things that, making it as personal as I can to what they said without going too far.
Yeah, for sure. So, and then once we respond that review, our objective is to get into a one-on-one conversation with that patient, right?
Yep.
Take it offline and solve their problem, right? That's most people.
And that can be that person calling or whatever action you ask them to take. Hey, if you'd like to talk about this, but if you really care, which you should, I hope you really care, because it sounds like everybody's getting worked up about a negative review. So we should probably care. Maybe that's where we reach out to if we can figure out who it is. By the way, if it goes through a system like ours, you're going to know who it is. Someone's Google profile might be, coolperson1 at gmail.com. And you don't know who coolperson1 is. You don't have any idea who that is, but they left you a negative review. So, but if it went through a system like this, now you can match those up and that was Cindy. Cindy did that. Okay. So let's call Cindy. Hey,
Okay.
Cindy, what? I just want to follow up with you, if it's appropriate. If it's some craziness that you just don't want to deal with, then don't deal with it. I mean, that's an option, but if it's a no-win, no conversation, I mean, it happens. I'm not going to lie to you. It happens.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, something that I think it's key to point out is that, you're having that conversation with the patient and you want to help them solve it, considering that's a legitimate concern.
Yeah.
Right.
Legitimate concern.
Yeah. And then, after that, like if you've solved the issue, to take your game to the next level, I would suggest that you ask that patient to change their review.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Very, very simple. Hey, I'd love for you to come back in. Maybe they have to come back in, right? Hey, I'd love for you to come back in. I'm gonna fix this crown, whatever. Because it's a one-on-one conversation, talking about it. Gonna fix that up. Totally what we do. I know that the experience been of it, but did we fix it? Yes. Would you mind updating that? And they can update that.
Yeah. And the last thing that I would add for this, for responding, is just get a consistent flow of positive reviews That way the negative ones don't hurt as much and they get pushed further down.
Yeah, I mean, most dental practices, I mean, how many people do they see on a weekly basis? Let's ask Christian. Christian, how many patients does a dental practice see on a daily basis?
I mean, you're talking, it depends on how many hygienists. I mean, probably easily 100. I mean, depending upon how many staff you have, it could be more than that.
And how many reviews do you think they should get on a daily basis?
They should be asking reviews for everybody.
So, but how many do you think that? Not everybody's
Oh,
gonna-
probably. I mean, if you're looking at out of 10, maybe they get 2 or 3. Maybe if they get
20,
that much.
30%? You think 20,
Probably.
30%?
That's probably a good number. Yeah.
So I'm going to share a secret with all of you guys. This is a secret. So Adrian, when you let everybody know that this podcast is out there, you say it again. So listen very carefully.
The secret. Right.
So after looking at a lot of data on reviews, just reviews, and I'm going to call it responding to a review request. Okay. That percentage directly dictates the relationship that you have as a business with your customer.
Mhm.
So somebody willing to take that action, willing to say, I'm going to leave you a review. I'm going to take some time out of my day to do that, is a direct reflection of the relationship that you have with your customers. And I've seen 3% returns, like 3% of the people would take an action, and I've seen 25, 30, 40%. And I can always tell you what the difference is. The difference is the way they treat their customers, the relationship that they have with their customers. 100%. So if that's another thing that can be measured in something like this. I sent out 200 review requests. It's right there. We have all this data, right? It's built into the platform. And I got, let's just say I got 20 people. So I had 10% return. You're a 10%er, man. You have 10% relationship with your customers. There you go. And by the way, 20, 25 is good, is really good. So to be fair, but think about that for a minute. Put it in the respects of, why wouldn't they want to leave you a review? Did you woo them? Did you wow them? Did you, you didn't? Yeah, you just cleaned my teeth, man. You just cleaned my teeth. I'm out of here. So that's the experience. Understand, that's my experience, right? If I don't leave a review, my experience wasn't wowed.
In the dental practice, most dentists and dental staff don't realize that they're in the patient experience business, not the tooth business. And if you just focus on this tooth that we're going to put in somebody's head, then the experience they have it could be good, but it also could not be as good as if the patient was put first. And
I always love going. I'm not going to pick on them. I always love talking to my dentist when I go in there, because I'm that guy, right? And he always asks, "Hey, do you have any questions?" How many people answer that honestly? Like, how many people say, "No, I'm good"?
Most people say, "No, I'm good." They just want to get out.
I'm good. No, I'm good. Are you really? You know all about dentistry? You know all about teeth and hygiene and both? No, they don't know. So again, that's not a wrong question to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a different way to approach that question?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. How do I engage in a conversation? How do I engage this person to open up to me a little bit? Those are challenges. You said, hey, you're in the customer experience. I mean, you're just in the customer experience business, not just the patient experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the harsh reality of life. The harsh reality, I don't care what business you're in competition with everybody, because you're in competition for the dollar. Now, with insurance, it might be a little bit different, right? We'll kind of throw that out there. But I mean, you're in competition with Disney. Man, I'm going to get this crown, or I'm going to Disney.
Yep.
Which one am I going to do? So yes, it's needed, but can it wait? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I go get a second opinion? The relationship's right. There's no second opinion. If the relationship's right and the experience is right, I'm getting this done now. I have one place I take my car to get all my tires, all my oil change, everything. And it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with their skill set. It has 100% to do with the experience I get every single time I walk in that place.
Mm-hmm.
You ever been to Chicago? Adrian, you've been to Chicago, right?
Just the airport.
Okay, well, I lived in Chicago for a couple of years.
I don't have a good impression so far.
Yes, I have been to Chicago. I've been there a couple of times.
So everybody knows Chicago dogs, right? The Chicago hot dog, right?
Yes.
So there's a place, I lived in Chicago for a few years, and there's a place up in Skokie. So that's the north side of Chicago. And I would go in there and they had jumbo ducks. And there's this round counter, and there's just hundreds. I mean, it feels like hundreds of orders being placed at the exact same time. These people never wrote down an order. They never wrote down an order, and they never messed one up, ever. Like, they looked at you, hey, what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And then pretty soon you start coming in and they go, hey, JD, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, how do they do this? I'm blown away. Like, how in the world do they do this? Like, that's unbelievable. I'm talking hundreds of orders at the same time, man. So when your staff says, oh, that doesn't make sense, we shouldn't do that, we can't do that, you know, that's where you also have to be, I mean, for lack of better terms, you got to be the boss man, right? You got to help them understand the experience, help them understand what you're really driving for. I think you said it best. You're in the patient management business.
Mm-hmm.
Or the patient experience.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The experience the patient has trumps, it doesn't trump everything, but it trumps most of everything. Because if people don't have a good time there, it's like, why would I want to come back? If nobody's laughing, if nobody's having a good time in the operatory, if the staff aren't high-fiving each other, everybody kind of has a Mach 1 crap detector on their belt, and they can decide real quick whether, oh my goodness, this is not a place I want to come back to. Nobody's having a good time. So in our business, and Adrian knows this really well, you can't get buried in tooth dust. There has to be more than that. Otherwise, people just don't want to come back. And so it's like, why is my schedule open? Why are we having a hard time producing and collecting? Well, you know, if I'm working with Bazinga, I can go on there and say, wow, look at the reviews we're getting, or no one's responding, or no one's doing this. So that's a good piece. That's part of the overall branding of a dental practice, I think is kind of what we're talking about today. So that's a great point, JD.
Yeah, I think that's the big deal, is that, you know, the reality is you have to have a tool. You know, the other thing is we do surveys too, right?
Yes.
So surveys can be done. Not a huge fan of it, maybe in the dental world, but there's other reasons for that. But I just want you to think about this process for a minute. The key to the process, the key to the success, the key to people, you know, your relationship's important with them, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but one other piece that will either A, get you a volume of reviews, or will not get you a volume of reviews. And that's how easy is it for someone to leave you that review where you want them to leave it. Correct. So if you think about a survey, maybe there's 10 questions. Nobody gets through those 10 questions, right? No. I don't. If I don't and you don't, then nobody does.
Nobody does.
And I think that's where as business people, we get so siloed sometimes, and we say, we know our business so well, but we don't really take a step back and go, if I was the customer, mm-hmm. what would I say? You know, you can't know anything behind the curtain at this point. What do you really see? And it's the hardest thing to do.
Well, guys, this has been awesome. We're going to have to wrap it up here for today.
Awesome.
JD, we really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you.
And anytime, guys. It's awesome conversation.
Yeah. And I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And as a gift, I'd like to give you a couple of negative response templates that you can use if and when you get negative reviews. So just see the show description below, and there will be a link. There'll be some resources in there for the show. But click the link for the review templates. That's going to be our special gift to you. And if you'd like to learn more about Bazinga and how you can leverage the platform to retain your patients and attract new ones, then go ahead and connect with me at ampdentalseo.com. We'd love to have a conversation with you about it and show you how you can put it to work in your practice. Thanks for joining us today. Please like and comment on this episode and subscribe to our channel. Thanks again for tuning into Business Excellence. Have a good day.
Thanks for listening to the Dental Business Excellence Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss the next episode. While you are there, leave us a rating and review to help us spread the word about the show.